Hey, come through, just you or your crew. I just want to tell you some news you could use is the All Black Matters Pod. Hey.
Hey guys, welcome back to the All Black Matters podcast. I'm your host, Rivka, and today I kind of have a different approach. So, hear me out. I want to kind of see if we can freeball this episode. I am trying to find a different format, trying to play with different formats, and I want to see how this works. So, we're going to get into it. See how it sounds. Okay, guys, so before I get into this episode, I got to tell you guys about this amazing app that I found for podcasters. If you are interested in podcasting, never had a podcast before, know nothing about podcasting, I'm telling you, you want to download this app. It's called the Anchor app. Now, the Anchor app has literally everything you could ever need to build your podcast for absolutely $0. I am not joking. It's literally what I use to record my podcast every week. If you are at all interested in getting into the game, you want resources, you want to be able to record with friends, you want to be able to have all the things that you need basically as a starter kit, you want to download this app. Just go to anchor.fm and get started. Guys, you're going to thank me later, I'm telling you. So this week, some of the things that are heavy on my heart or things that I've been just thinking about they kind of vary, guys. And that's the thing, my ideas be all over the place sometimes. So, but to start, have some order here. The first thing I have been thinking about a lot has been how disappointed I am in the men that I have been associated with or spoken to throughout this pandemic time. During this quarantine situation, I'm sure a lot of other women can relate to just talking to people, not necessarily for any particular reason, but that you're bored and you have nothing else to do. What is it? Bored in the house and I'm in the house bored? Literally, ain't nothing else for us to do. So a lot of women have just been answering the DMs she probably wouldn't have or texting back to that one person who you thought was a waste of your fucking time. Yeah, I think we're all in that boat right now. So with that being said, I too have been indulging with people that, I would say more apps, not really people, because I cut everybody off around last year, so I didn't really have anybody to talk to. But I've been definitely in the dating app streets in that sense, and seeing what was out there. That sounded really bad, by the way. I'm not in the streets, guys. I'm not. I take it back. But yeah, it's just been really interesting. So I started off by saying that it was really disappointing because it is. You know what it is for me? I just feel like I'm 25, right? And I feel like for a 25-year-old, I kind of have a good head on my shoulders. I would like to think that I'm, quite intelligent, put together, have a lot of goals, ambitions. I've accomplished a lot in my life so far, if I do say so myself. And, the way that I think it's quite open-minded and, I can have conversations with people and, converse on a level, that is probably quite intellectual. I can shoot the shit too, but, I can do both. And I find that my issue with this is when you speak to other people, Black men in particular, a lot of them don't hold those same qualities and then be older than me. And that's my issue. It's bruh, why? First of all, it's a lot of the times that I, let's say, match with someone or we just start talking, whatever, they don't really have conversational skills. So 99% of the times on any dating app, they just want to smash, right? And to me, it's so are all the dating apps just are all of them, are we all every single dating app now is a hookup app? Because I understand that there's levels to this, right? So there's the hookup apps that we know, there's the Tinders and the other things. And then there's the Bumbles, which I thought, that's more of get to know each other, see where it goes. And no, it seems like every single app is now deemed a hookup app. If you're on an app, it's definitely, at least tell me one that isn't, So there's the first part of it. So the conversation, the art of conversation, that conversational piece is already dead, right? So because they don't know what the fuck to say to you. They don't know how to introduce topics. They don't know everything is just like, oh, so what you doing? So what you doing? So what you doing? So that's annoying to start, right? Then you get the some brothers who have conversations. They know how to have conversations. They, converse quite well, but then their political views and like the way that they see the world is so, let's just say, different to be nice, right? Like guys, if I tell y'all stories, okay, let's get into it. I said I wanted to talk about this, so let's get into it. Spoken to this one guy, right? We're gonna leave identities out of this, but I spoke to this one guy, and I'm only mentioning him, but there have been others like him, a lot of other people like him, but we're just going to mention him. This one guy, we start speaking, and somehow we get into a conversation about, I don't even know how it led to this, but sometimes, you have conversations and one thing leads to another, and now you're on this topic. So we start speaking about, bigger women and how he views bigger women as, how did he word it? Basically, he's misogynistic. Okay, if we want to just break it down, there's so many layers to this conversation, but that's just what it boiled down to, is that his views were very much like, women should be proud and happy that I exist and should be pursuing me because I am the prize, and I'm tired of women saying that they're the prize. You should be chasing me because all these guys want you. And to a certain extent, it's like, okay, cool. You feel like you're a king and you want to be pursued. Fair enough. But what does that have to do with what we should do, though? And also, why do you assume that because certain communities of women are getting certain kinds of attention, it means that they're being pursued for the reasons that they want to be pursued for? I just feel like, let's think of this, just a bigger picture here. And then it got into other, kinds of conversation that was also questionable, where it was like he thought police brutality was justifiable, and just a lot of other things that were just quite bizarre to me. And I'm like, okay, this is not going to last long. So it's just really frustrating, stuff like that. And obviously I can go into more detail about that, but I just kind of wanted to touch on it because I'm like, the amount of men that think this way, the amount of men that don't value just like the personhood of women it's so irritating, guys. It's so irritating. And then you see it like in so many different facets, like from fathers to brothers to, people that are coming up now, like, in media and stuff. You see these like young blue faces and shit like that, where it's like, y'all don't respect nobody. And it's all, I feel like I just see it as a lot of black men. I mean, maybe I know there's a lot of other people that are doing it, but I mean, the people that I'm surrounded by and the people that I see, it's just a lot of black men, and it's frustrating. So I'm losing hope. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm losing hope in black men. I just feel like there needs to be some reformation and quickly, because I was rooting for y'all. I was here. We were in the same corner. We were on the same. Well, I don't think we were ever on the same page, but. I was in your corner. You might not have been in mine all the time. You probably still not ever going to be in mine. I don't know. But I was in your corner, and now I'm kind of like itching away from the corner. Like I feel like I'm not there no more like I used to be. Because I just feel like, and I mean, I'm sure so many black women have like experienced this, and like women in general also. It's just like, I'm tired of just rooting and like supporting people that is not supporting me and not thinking about, just like collectively, or just can't even be on the same level as me or like page mentally. It's just like, bro, like I ain't trying to develop everybody I come in contact with. I'm not trying to build everybody up and make them into something. You know what I mean? Like, can we just all just be here together? Like, can we just be here together? I understand that women are, stereotypically meant to nurture and stuff like that. And yes, we do have those qualities, but it's like, I just want to meet somebody who's already cool. Like, you're already there. Like, you already got your shit together. You already have, certain goals and ambitions, and you're at that level already. But what's funny about that, guys, is when you do meet those kind of people, they're not interested in like anything serious. And that's the catch-22. That is the thing that's like, bro, like you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. So for me now, it's just like, well, I guess I'm just gonna be alone. Oh, I'm laughing. And then like there's the women aspect of it. But like I just want to focus on this part because that hasn't been as troubling for me. But I just feel like, I don't know, it's just really disappointing because, you kind of see yourself in this way and you're like, hey, this would be nice to have. And you make your, like, every woman, I don't want to say every woman, but a lot of us have this like idea of like what our relationships are going to be like and stuff like that. And when you hit 25 and you start realizing like, so this idea I had and created for myself is probably not going to happen. It's probably not going to go that way. But I guess I have to deal with that. You know what I mean? Like there's this that realization that you're like, shit, well, this is my reality. And we're just going to work from here because clearly what I thought was going to be is not. And honestly, guys, that's where I'm at right now. I am just rolling with the punches, but also being frustrated in the process. Like, I'm also just like, damn, like I did not want to have to feel like this. You know what I mean? Like you see all of these women that, they got a little vanilla swirl, and they, dabble in other arenas, let's say that. And you kind of like think like, damn, but I want to, strengthen the Black family and I want us to be like here, da 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 da. And it's like, then you start to realize some of the things that are wrong with the Black quote unquote family and like why that dynamic probably has been faltering for so long. And you just start to think to yourself, well, damn. Yeah. I know that was dark, guys, but that's really where I'm at right now. So yeah, I don't really know, man. That's that on that. That is that on that. I don't know. I don't know if that'll change. I'm hoping that it will. Right now, I'm kind of jaded when it comes to dating and when it comes to guys, to be honest, because it just feels like it's never what it seems to be. You know what I mean? Like it's never just like, okay, this is what it is. We're cool. It's all fine. It's just always some extra shit. So it's kind of been like, I've been just really jaded and like, here we go. You know what I mean? But at the same time, still wanting to kind of like build with someone. Because I think that's what it boils down to. I'm at a place now where I kind of want to build with someone. And I'm realizing that the pool is not that great. It's not that great. Don't let them lie to you guys. It is not that great out here in the streets. If you are in a happy relationship, stay happy in your relationship. Don't try to screw that shit up because there's nobody out here really. Low key, high key, no one's out here really. So at least no one of quality. But I just want to let you guys know that. I mean, stay happy. Stay with what you have that is quality. Now, don't stay with no shit nigga and then be mad about it. But if you have something great, hold on to it. So yeah, that's that on that. Yeah, that's one of the things that I have been like in my feelings about, guys. In my feelings. Just because it's just like, damn. But, such is life. I mean, there's other things to concern myself with. So I try to just not spend too much time getting mad of the state of, dating and Black culture and just in general. Because I know everybody going through it. But my preference is always going to be Black people. So I think that's why I'm mentioning those people, because I have not dated a whole lot of other races. So, and maybe that's the problem. Anyways, guys, another thing that I thought was really interesting this week. I mean, everybody's talking about it. So, I mean, like, I guess I could weigh in. I guess I could say a little 1-2 about it. Is this whole Tekashi 6ix9ine thing. Now, obviously, if you don't know, Tekashi 6ix9ine is out of jail. He's been out for probably a week now, if that long. And he put out a new song, and it's charting like nothing has ever charted in life, apparently. And he's really proud of that. He's taken to Instagram to tell people how, they're mad and how he is doing well and how they should stop hating, pretty much. And how a snitch is, doing so well now, and how, people are upset and, they're not stopping his success. And not so much words is what's been happening this week. And for me, I think a lot of people are mad because obviously he snitched on people and got out pretty much. He didn't get out scot-free. He did go to jail, but like he isn't impacted as much as the people that were involved who, other people that were involved that he snitched on and other things like that. And so people are kind of like, damn, like he came in to our culture and kind of like just ate off our culture, and now he's profiting, and the other people who are Black and who, really are about that life are being disenfranchised. And I wouldn't say disenfranchised, but like they're suffering in a way that he isn't, put it like that, right? And so I feel like, I don't know, my opinion on it is pretty much, it's to be expected, right? It is to be expected. He was never a gangster. He was never a thug. He was never about this. So for us to expect anything different is quite crazy. It's bizarre. I would say though, the fact that he was allowed to be a part of the culture and so embraced into the culture is the problem. Because if he never had the opportunity, this would not have happened. And I think that it's on us for giving him that opportunity, or at least the hip hop culture and like gang culture and all the other stuff, for them to have let him in and felt so comfortable to do and say the stuff that he was doing and saying is problematic. I think that's the issue that we need to like point to. Now, him being a snitch and doing the stuff, because like he on his lives, you can go look it up on his page. He talks about, oh, would you expect me to do pretty much like if they did this to you, wouldn't you have snitched too type of vibes? Like he's on that type of time. And realistically, the majority of people are saying like, yeah, like if somebody, slept with your baby moms and did all this other stuff and, kidnapped you and stuff like that, would you not have snitched too? And, humanly, yes, you probably would have if we're being honest with ourselves. But that's not the problem, I think, at least the problem that I take with it. The issue that I have is that he was even put in a position to snitch. Like, why was you even part of the like, you know what I mean? Why you was even invited to the cookout kind of thing? Like, why were you even here to be able to do that? Because if you didn't have the access, you would not be relevant. People gave you access. You didn't get access because of who you are and because of, oh, you're so poppin' and you rap so well. No, you had access because of people that you were connected to. Why are they connecting you with any, you know what I mean? Like, why would they allow you to do this shit? So, yeah, man, I don't really have an issue with 6ix9ine being 6ix9ine. Like 6ix9ine is going to be 6ix9ine. And he's also really young. So a lot of the stuff that he's doing and saying, I feel like as far as just like even now probing people and saying like, he has this issue now with Meek Mill and he's like, oh, you mad. You should be worrying about your kid. Like just all this stuff on Instagram that's going back and forth. And to be honest with you, is quite petty. But I think that the problem, again, is that people have given him access. And so now that he has the access, you can't take that from him. You know what I mean? Like, you can't be now mad and say, oh, we're going to, like, be upset with you. And you knew who this guy was when y'all gave him the access. You people that are close to him or people that are associated with him probably would have known about the people that he ran with, and never question them. You know what I mean? Like, we on Twitter and on Instagram getting mad now, but like, were you questioning the people that he were around when he was coming up? You know what I mean? And I don't know what the situation is, so I can't speak too tough about it, but ultimately I'm just like, bro, like, it just should not have happened in the first place. You know what I mean? Like, we have other people to quote unquote protect or to invest time and energy in. Even on like Instagram, just seeing him pop up every 5 minutes, it's like, bruh, there's more important things in the world. It's like when the Kardashians pop up on my timeline. It's just like, okay, Shade Room. Let's move on. Like, it's just like, okay, like they do the same shit all the time. Why are we gonna continue to talk about that? With that being said, though, I think the more interesting conversation about the Tekashi 6ix9ine thing is, like I said, the access part of it and like culture in general. Like for our culture, right? What is the standard now? Like, because we have this Tekashi thing that has pretty much kind of exploded in our faces, if so to speak. I mean, not in my face, because I'm not invested. I'm not part of gang culture, nothing like that. But the people who are a part of that world and like super heavy, like hip hop heads, super heavy, like, just into the hip hop culture, and not just the hip hop culture, but gang culture more specifically. Like, how is the game changing now? Because I definitely don't think it's going back to being the way it used to be. Once you have one snitch that got off scot-free and kind of like profited off of that, you gonna have a lot more snitches. You know what I mean? And I mean, maybe they have always been snitches, but to have this much gain, and notoriety because of it, and proud to say that he is that. A lot of people that snitch ain't proud to say it. So now I think you're just gonna have a lot of proud snitches happening. You know what I mean? And what do we do with that? What do we do with that? And also, more importantly, like, is it even a bad thing to snitch on someone when, one, it probably is for a good reason, in the sense that if someone does something to you or to someone around you that is harmful, is it not okay to snitch? Like, why? I don't know why we've even had to begin with, before Tekashi, before a lot of other people. Why is this even a thing that we're like, oh, snitches get stitches and stuff like that? If somebody's hurting your family or your friends or you should be able to say, hey, this is what's happening. I think the problem in our community has been that we don't get help when we say stuff. And so maybe that's where this kind of conversation comes from, because it's like, okay, yes, maybe he got away with it and he's being protected, quote unquote, or things are happening for him. But if the average Black human says, hey, I'm being, hurt, or, whatever it is, whatever the situation is by such and such, is that person going to get the same level of protection? Or, you know what I mean? Just like, are we going to be as important to you? And maybe that's where the difference lies, because I don't think personally there's anything wrong with saying when something's wrong. As you can see, I'm always talking, but I just don't know that the results are the same. So I think that's probably what the problem is, because again, snitching it should have never been an issue to begin with. And so, which is probably why I don't have so much of an issue with Tekashi. It's just more so like the outcome that was for him is probably not going to be for any Black people. And that's sad. I don't really know how we change it. I don't really know how we normalize it. Maybe this is the tipping point. I don't know. I think that if it's not something that definitely changes the culture, it's definitely going to put questions in a lot of people's minds as it is right now. So that could be a positive thing. I'm not too mad at it. So another random topic I wanted to talk about was skincare. Oh my gosh, guys, I need y'all help. Because to be honest, like, I'm an essential worker, quote unquote. And so I have to go outside every day and I'm wearing a mask. And I have noticed, and a lot of other people have said this too, where it's like my skin is breaking out. And I don't know what to do. Because what the problem is that, like, it's one thing to be breaking out and then, like, okay, this is not going to last for too long because I'm doing stuff, to change it, and I'm not going to be in the same predicament. But I have to wear these masks every single day. So it's like, do I do this whole skincare routine to then have it happen again, to then do it again? Like, I don't know. It's kind of exhausting. So I don't know. I mean, I have no solution to this problem, to this issue. I just want to know, like, who else is dealing with this? Can we just commiserate together? And probably help me too. Like, I need some tips, y'all. I know people have said like they put like a Vaseline on. I can't put Vaseline on my face. I have acne prone skin. That doesn't help me. So I don't know what other options there are. I know people have put Band-Aids for like stuff. I'm like, I don't know how that's going to help. Like, but guys, please let me know whatever like thoughts you guys have, what you've tried, your remedies, things like that, because I'm desperate at this point. I don't want to have like nasty skin. So when this shit is over, I'm out here looking like, I don't know, like Bumpy Sue. I don't know. That's not cute. That is not cute. And I'm not happy with that. So I have been definitely still trying to do my cleansers and my, mask and stuff like that. But I really just want to know if it can like be avoided in any kind of way. Like if we can just avoid this whole thing, because I'm going to wear my mask, but I just don't want to have breakouts, guys. I have no idea how to fix it at all. I need help. So another thing that's kind of been just like in the, I don't know, what I've been doing, listening to, watching, all that kind of stuff for this week has been, and the last couple of weeks to be fair, is this book called The Originals by Adam Grant. So I found out about this book through the grapevine. Said I heard it through the grapevine. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. So The Grapevine is this show on YouTube, just talking about like different, cultural issues within the Black community, topics, they just do a lot of different things. It's really cool because it's like a podcast style. They have a lot of different hosts on. I've been dying to get on that show, by the way, but I digress. So anyways, in recent episodes, they've been doing this thing where they talk about, what they've been listening to, watching, reading, just things that has been consuming their time. And Donovan mentioned this book called The Originals by Adam Grant. And I was like, he's talked a little bit about what it was about. And I was like, okay, let me just, I'm looking for a new book. Let me see, what this is about. So I do Audible, guys. And I started listening to this book. I think right after you mentioned it, I think that was probably like 2 weeks ago. And guys, this book is incredible. Like, I'm on chapter 8 now, and it's just really good. It gives you an alternative perspective on what it means to be a self-starter, what it means to be an entrepreneur, what it means to just be an original, someone who thinks differently, someone who approaches, obstacles in life in a different way. And if you're into like just thinking outside of the box, trying to find different ways of doing things, just being a creative in general, it's a really good book. And I recommend it. It definitely is helping me. I love it too because it gives a lot of like evidence, like how do you explain it? It's kind of like when people give, like they'll give stats behind what they're saying. It's not just about, oh, this is what you should do. It's not like one of those self-help books. It's more so like, and in this, time, in this example, such and such did this, and we can look back and it has been da-da-da-da-da, like it's more like that. And I like that it gives like a lot of scientific, studies and stuff like that I love, getting my scientific bag and my, psychology bag, all that shit. I love that kind of stuff. So if you're into that, definitely check that out. I think it's on every platform where, you can buy books, but I listen to it on Audible. So there's that. And yeah, like as far as other things that I'm like reading and stuff like that or watching, mainly podcasts. I'm a podcast head. I can give you guys recommendations of podcasts. I listen to my top 3 podcasts, I would say right now, right? Giving you top 3 podcasts that I listen to is The Friend Zone. That's Dustin, Fran, and oh my God, why am I Asante? I was gonna forget his name. Yes, Asante. So those 3 do a podcast. I listen to their podcast on Spotify. So if you have Spotify, I definitely recommend listening to them. They're just amazing, man. They have like kind of like a mental health wellness podcast where they just talk about different stuff that happens in life, and they're all very successful in their right. And I kind of want to be like them when I grow up. So they're just amazing. I love the conversation. It's just very candid and open, and it's not too polished. And I love that. But it is also definitely very like streamlined in the sense that they definitely have different topics. It's a wide variety of topics that they cover, and they do it so eloquently. So, I mean, shout out to them. Friend Zone Podcast. They are amazing. I also listen to The Read. Not as much as I used to, but I definitely still listen to The Read. That's also on Spotify. There is Meet Us After 7. Is it Meet Us or Meet? Yes, it's Meet Us After 7. And that's with Gina and Yusuf. That's a UK podcast, guys, by the way. They're fitness people, but I'm not into fitness. But I love their podcast because it's not really about fitness. It's more so just about life and stuff that they come across in media and things like that. Just, shooting the shit pretty much. They're friends and they just talk about what they experience personally and like, in their industry and stuff like that and like what they see in the world. I really like them because it gives me like a UK perspective. And I love Gina because she's just like very like, I find that when I was living in London, a lot of people were just very hush hush about like, being Black and, what we face and stuff like that. Because obviously there's a struggle there too. And I just like her because she's just unapologetically Black. I mean, she definitely will say what she feels as a dark-skinned Black woman. And yeah, like I just like hearing her perspective versus Yusuf's perspective. So I guess that would be my top 3. Who else do I listen to? Those 3. I have another one though. Okay, I remember. So there's another UK podcast that I like. It's called Half Cast Podcast, and that's with Chucky and Poet. Most of the time it's with Chucky and Poet. They have different guests sometimes, but that's who I see primarily. And I like their podcast also because it's more music related. And I don't listen to grime like that. I'm not a grime head. I'm not really even into UK artists that much. Like I do listen to some people, but I'm not like super into it. But what I love about their podcast is that like they are, you know what I mean? Like they are like heavy into that shit. And I love their perspective. I love how they talk about music. They also talk about other topics, not just music. I like that there's a healthy balance on the show. And yeah, it's pretty cool. If you're into that, I probably do listen to quite a few people from the UK just because I don't know, I've been fascinated with that until I lived there. But that's another story for another day. But outside of that, I mean, that's pretty much what I've been on recently and like for a while because I've been listening to these podcasts. I've been listening to The Friend Zone. I've been listening to Meet Us After 7 and Half Cast Podcasts for I would say almost a year or more now. I would say probably. I mean, I also listen to this podcast called Jesus and Jollof with Yvonne Orji and damn, I forget the other woman's name. I am so sorry. But that's a really good podcast too. If you're in your like inspirational bag and you really just want to be empowered and cry, because I cry almost every episode of that show. And I also have been listening to it from the very beginning. So yeah, I don't listen to okay, Rifta. I don't listen to every podcast from the very beginning, but that one I definitely did. So yeah, those are some podcast recommendations for you guys. But yeah, that's pretty much what I've been doing. Aside of that, I just been kind of like working and, trying to break into this creative space and do creative things and, flourish in that way. So yeah, If you guys have any recommendations for me, though, I am definitely open to them. Let me know what you've been on. Let me know what you've been watching. Oh, and as far as watching stuff, like I said, I don't think I have anything to recommend because honestly, like, yeah, I don't really have a lot to recommend. I think the episode before last, I did some recommendations and those still hold true to me. I don't really have a lot of other stuff to recommend as far as that goes because I just don't think there's been that much good shit out. Be honest with you. I mean, if you watch Insecure, that's amazing. I mean, that's something that I think everybody kind of watches Insecure though. So I don't think that there's anything else besides, the typical shows to really recommend, at least not this week. So I've been just watching whatever's on, to be honest, and it's been shit. So with the exception of a few, but yeah, that's pretty much that. If you guys have any recommendations, as I said before, let me know. I am definitely trying to see some good shit, some stuff that's different, some stuff that's interesting. And yeah, Thank you so much for tuning in once again to the All Black Matters podcast, guys. I did a little bit of a different setup this time. Tell me if you like it. Tell me what you think. Also, engage with me on everything else. I always tell you guys this because I love talking to you and hearing from you. And if there's anything else you want to know or talk about, again, let me know. And yeah, next week we'll do this again. Same place, same time.